life is filled with in-between spaces. In Tibetan Buddhism, that's known as a Bardo, an in-between state. And a lot of people think the Bardo is the place you go in between death and rebirth. But there are many Bardos. There are many Bardos in the after-death state. But here I'm talking about these islands in between, the in-between space. For example, another in-between space is when we fall asleep at night. That deep sleep is an in-between place. And we really don't have control over that, luckily, because we manage to do that every night. When we're in the dream state, that's another in-between place. And so in deep sleep and dream, we experience our consciousness in a certain way. People typically black out in deep sleep, but there is a way to train to experience awareness even in that state. But other types of bardos are being wide awake. When you wake up in the morning and start your day and you start thinking with this cognitive brain, that's another in-between place. And I think with modern living, we get stuck in that bardo too much. Or I should speak for myself, way too much. And we start to perceive reality as the product of what we think about life. Or we perceive, and then we judge, and then we make choices based off of that using pretty much this youngest part of the brain up front, the prefrontal cortex. Whereas even several hundred years ago, or even more recently, we would experience life differently, not from a thinking place, but from a being place, knowing it from a non-conceptual place. So I think there's a modern imbalance with that. So I'm grateful when we get together and meditate this way for an hour or two on a Sunday, once in a while, because we're re-injecting ourselves into this bardo of meditation. Meditation is a bardo. And we don't have to, some people are strict about that and say, well, if you're not in meditative absorption, that you're not in the, well, we can just set that aside and say, being willing to sit quietly, undistracted from outer things and entertainments like scrolling, just being able to sit and feel exactly how we feel without trying to make it better or make it different, which in modern psychology we call radical acceptance. To just be present with who you are in this moment for the next hour or two, and feeling yourself, not thinking about yourself, but feeling yourself, feeling and experiencing the movement and the stillness of the mind that normally moves so quickly we don't even notice it's there, and we just experience life almost like passive victims, like life is happening to us. But when we meditate, we see the machinery behind the perception, how the mind operates, and that machinery gets to slow down. Of course, sometimes it speeds up in meditation. We start getting obsessive about a thought, and that's okay, that happens. Sometimes we need to process things. But overall, to just slow down, to not have to project an identity outward. We don't have to impress each other or other people the way we do in normal life. We don't have to look a certain way. We don't have to say certain things to fit in. But to just exist in a non-thinking way. Again, which I think is a very rare experience these days for modern people. I say this partly as a therapist working with people, because more and more I have clients coming in and they tell me about their lifestyle, and when they say, well, I sit at a computer for work, and then after that I scroll for hours, and their machine in their mind is spinning, and that's what they do, that's how they do life. And I think all of us, to one degree or another, know that experience, living the electronic life, and not enough of this. So it's just a theme I wanted to touch on, that when we do this is something really important, this way of being. We don't want to wait till we're 99 years old to have this experience. Like, wow, this is nice. When we're forced to, when we're at that age. But to enjoy that now while we're relatively healthy and clear-minded, to experience the glorious peace that's available inside the mind. So when you think, oh, should I meditate? Here's one reason: to put yourself back in that in-between space that's so rare in modern life. That could be a motivating factor for any of us. You don't have to wait for us to meet as a group. Maybe you're having a bad day at work or in life, and you can say, I need a Bardo. I need an in-between moment. So I'm going to go to my chair, my couch, my meditation cushion, whatever it is you're using, and I'm just going to be for the next 20 minutes, 45 minutes, hour, 2 hours, whatever you need. And meditating this way is sort of like fruit and vegetables in the grocery store, that they don't have advertising, they don't have labels trying to convince you that it's a good thing. It's all the less healthy stuff where they need advertising to try and convince you to buy it, and it costs a lot more, but it has less nutrition. Meditating the way we do here for peace, not for anything special, but just to be, there's no advertising. It's not sexy on Facebook or YouTube. We can't put it on Instagram. So I worry that it's becoming more rare, but that's a whole other topic. But this is your daily fruits and vegetables, right? It's a good thing. I mean, if you want it to be daily for you, I don't, everyone has their own needs and desires, which is fine. So